After watching the Five Nights at Freddy's movie that came out around Halloween, I started to wonder just how many real-life animatronics are out there, forgotten or simply abandoned, with a lot of them being parts of bands with its purpose was to entertain families at animatronic restaurants. Unfortunately, most of them are lost to time, and the ones that are still around do not have much time left and may soon one day destroyed or to forever be doomed, standing in a dark, up on stage with no audience to perform. So in this series, we'll be going through every known animatronic that are missing or simply gone forever. So if you want to continue seeing this animatronic series, be sure to subscribe and turn on notifications. Let's begin part 1.
And now, sit back, relax, and enjoy this performance of the Black Bear Jamboree.
Black Bear Jamboree. Not to be confused with Disney's Country Bear Jamboree, the Black Bear Jamboree dinner show was a dine-in theater that features live actors, singers, dancers, and 6 bear animatronics. Took place in Pigeon Forge, Tennessee. Information on them is little, but from what I can find is that the dinner theater was around as early as 2003 up to around 2010, when the theater was then changed into a Hatfield and McCoy dinner feud. It seems to be the same as it was, except that the bear animatronics are nowhere to be found. There are 2 side stages occupied by 3 bears each. One stage took place in the forest where a family of black bears, Mama Bear, Papa Bear, and Baby Bear, talk about how the audience are humans lost in the woods and can interact with the live performance on the main stage. The other stage took place inside a cave, filled with stolen belongings where these 3 bears stole it from humans. Their names reportedly were Weezer, Big Ben, and Gobo. Well, they also interacted with the audience and performers on the main stage. There were also a story going on that once a year, all of the black bears of the Great Smoky Mountains gather up in a cave to have a big party. But they watch as the actors on the main stage, playing as film directors working on a movie called The Legend of the Black Bear Jamboree. Their proof of their existence is the souvenirs like DVDs of shows with also Christmas specials and plushies of the baby bear. As of today, the whereabouts of the Black Bear animatronics are unknown. The Ronald McDonald Show. When animatronic restaurants were popping up everywhere around the 1980s, McDonald's wanted to be part of that, resulting of them having a few animatronics of their characters. There was Roey the Lion, who plays the piano in Plainview, New York, Ollie Oak, a talking tree in Oak Brook, Illinois, and in a few locations like Westminster, Colorado, and Mitchell, South Dakota, there was a Ronald McDonald animatronic. With the push of a button, Ronald, along with his talking fries, hamburger, and drink, would move and talk about going on a picnic and also teach us Spanish.
What should we pack 4 of? Cuatro.
4 plates to put our sandwiches on.
Good. Now, 5.
It's likely the animatronics of Ronald still exist in those specific locations, but most likely defunct, now acting as a statue. There were also another character from McDonald's franchise who also became an animatronic, but I believe this guy deserved his own entry, so we'll come back to McDonald's later. Before we move on, you may be thinking on why did Ronald McDonald disappear? Well, you may remember that in 2016, the creepy clown epidemic started and caused chaos across the US and other parts across the world. If you'd like to watch a full timeline of the creepy clown epidemic, be sure to subscribe and turn on notifications as I'm currently working on that documentary. Let's move on. The Summertime Band. A band of 2 dogs and 1 fox, performed in Carousel Park in Kansas City, Missouri. Designed by Dave Thomas, who had worked with animatronics for around 40 years for Universal Studios, Disney World, SeaWorld, Showbiz Pizza Time, Chuck E. Cheese, Creative Engineering, and Carousel Park, where the 3 animatronic band was once at. Names of them are unknown, and the proof of existence is this camcorder footage on YouTube and the photo, along with a piece of fan art where I found most of the info from. Apparently the band was put to storage, likely destroyed as Carousel Park closed down years ago. In the fan art post, there is a link to an Instagram post of supposedly a photo of the band in the storage room, but that post is gone. Unfortunately, Dave Thomas's website is gone, and Dave himself passed away around 2017, so reaching out to him is not an option. If there is anyone with any more information on them, or maybe even clues on these animatronics, let us know down in the comments. Rest in peace to Dave, and in actuality, you'll hear Dave again in other parts of this series. John Phillip Tubas. Around the 1980s, Florida began seeing a two animatronic duo, John Phillip Tuba and his sidekick, Pablo Pistachio, in different plazas like Pine Island Ridge, Coconut Creek, Pembroke Pines, and in Lauderdale Lakes. No new footage of them exists in these areas, but only one old photo of them in the newspaper. So the duo was forgotten for many decades, but luckily they were salvaged, assumedly by the creator of the channel, The Fun Wiz. In 2013, a video posted on the channel featuring the long-forgotten duo performing a happy birthday song to the creator's brother, Henry.
You, amigo, hope you are having a wonderful day.
Yes, we surely do wish you a very happy birthday, my young friend. Why, I remember how exciting birthdays were when I was a youngster. All my friends would come by for a party. We'd play games, wear paper hats.
Can you imagine a maestro in a paper hat? Can you even imagine the maestro young?
Only difference is that Pablo is now wearing a US bandana and holding the flag, while in the newspaper photo he appears to wear a sombrero, since Pablo is supposedly from Latin America. The duo sat in the creator's private game room, but since the video was made 10 years ago, in 2013, it's unknown if they're still there, but it's very likely, so it's nice to see they were salvaged and been in such care after many years. Mick Jaguar and the Sly Cats. I'm not 100% sure on what US state this animatronic band was from, either Missouri or Maine, but I'm guessing Maine, or maybe both. What I'm 100% sure is that the band was from an arcade called Jokers, inside a mall, and was around since the 1990s. It features a lead Jaguar guitarist named Mick Jaguar, a parody off of Mick Jagger, Langley Lion on drums, Nick Panther on keyboard, and a pair of birds named the Chirpettes. There is also another member of the band, a lioness singer, but she seems to appear once in a YouTube video from 2016. In the description, you read that the band was in the lobby of God and Country's Theater in Missouri, so you see why I'm not sure which state, but again, maybe both. Around that same year, 2016, the band was put up on eBay and was purchased by Timeline Arcade from Pennsylvania. They were put in a Timeline Arcade in early 2017, so it's likely the band is still there 6 years later. As for the lioness singer, the whereabouts are not known, likely somewhere else or dismantled. The Magical Monkey Show, or Die Klimbskis. Being the first German animatronic band, the Die Klimbskis, or the Magical Monkey Show, was a band of 22 animatronic monkeys occupying 5 stages in Phantasialand, a theme park in rural Germany, started in 1976 to 1983. The animatronic show was popular in the beginning of their debut, but quickly visitors lost interest in them, despite the animatronics having advanced mechanics and had a lot of movements. When seeing photos of the animatronic show, there appears to be a few bear animatronics and a pirate's parrots as well. They had a whole western theme, and the monkeys were dressed as magicians and musicians, all performing on stages with red curtain. In 1983, the animatronic show were later sold and moved to the Netherlands' Golden Theater Palais in Hellendoorn, where they stayed there up and around 2002. Nowadays, the whereabouts of all the animatronics from the Magical Monkey Show are unknown, being lost to time, forgotten. Marc's Funtime Pizza Palace. Taking place in the northern parts of Ohio, all of the Chuck E. Cheese's restaurants were bought by the founder of the grocery store Marc's, Marc Glassman, who converted into Marc's Funtime Pizza Palace, which the Chuck E. Cheese animatronics were retrofitted into new original characters. Chuck E. Cheese was now Marc the Dragon, Helen Henny was Rita the Bunny, Mr. Munch was Fletch the Monkey, Jasper T. Jowls was Chops the Walrus, which he kinda looks like another animatronic from a different restaurant we'll soon visit later on this video, and Pasquale was Allie, who I don't know who Allie is, maybe this deer animatronic? As each store was converted at a different time, the designs of the characters varied, so one Marc's Funtime Pizza Palace would have one animatronic who does not appear in the other Marc's Funtime Pizza Palaces. Unfortunately, each Marc's Funtime Pizza Palace closed its doors around the mid to late 90s, so the chances of the animatronics being saved or still exist somewhere are very low, and not much photos of them exist, only home video footage exists here on YouTube. Also, just want to congratulate on whoever got married inside a Marc's Funtime Pizza Palace.
Now, in the ordinance of God, in the name of the state of Ohio, I pronounce them husband and wife.
Billy Joe and the Bluegrass Boys. Not much is known on Billy Joe and the Bluegrass Boys, just that their names were Bubba Bruin, Billy Joe, and Homer Honeydew, being once used in Frontier City, a theme park in Oklahoma City, Oklahoma. Started maybe in 1987, but were later removed at a later unknown date. That's basically all we know. There is an audio playlist you can find on YouTube from a CD containing their dialogue and performances. Punchy's Hawaiian Punch Band. Back when SeaWorld was first opened in San Diego of 1964, it used to have lots of Polynesian theming throughout the park, but one area in the back was called Hawaiian Punch Village, where you will find Punchy's Hawaiian Punch Band. Punchy is the mascot for the Hawaiian Punch drink since 1961. 3 years later, the Punchy's Hawaiian Punch animatronic band was created, and has stuck around up until the 1980s. No information is known on whatever happened to Punchy, Oaf, and the sea creature animatronics after they were removed from the park, and it's unknown if the other SeaWorld parks in Florida and Ohio that also had the animatronic band. Dimes and Critters. Probably the most interesting animatronic band so far on this list is the Dimes and Critters band, made up of 4 members: Jed the Bear on guitar, an unknown pig on piano, Petunia on the skunk on vocals, and Critter McCoon the raccoon on banjo. Critter McCoon's, or later renamed into Dimes and Critters, was opened in January of 1984 at the 5 Mile Shopping Center in Washington. The animatronic Family Pizza Arcade restaurant was bought and owned by Dennis E. Archambault, using money from his own pockets and from other people to keep the business afloat. But shortly after its grand opening, the rat himself, Chuck E. Cheese, opened up a restaurant in Spokane City nearby, attracting all Dimes and Critters customers. By looking at Dimes and Critters commercial, you can see the restaurant was pretty basic to say the least. Disaster struck on September 7, 1984, when an arson fire was set on the Critters band performing at the stage area. The band immediately burned down and so did the restaurant, but thankfully the building was closed that night, so no one was harmed. It wasn't long until the arsonists were found and arrested, with one of them being the owner, Dennis, and the night manager, Charlene K. Nevers. The reason why Dennis burned down his own restaurant was an attempt to receive insurance money from the fire, and made plans to use that money to remodel the parlor into an adult-themed restaurant set to reopen in October. But that attempt failed, and only the individuals with liens would be paid. Dennis and Charlene were charged of first-degree arson and were found guilty on March of 1985, sentenced to around 21 to 27 months in prison. A lot of users find the Critters band creepy, and we're pleased to hear that the only existing animatronics were burnt down. The Care Bears Care-a-Lot Castle Show. Produced by Sally Industries, the Care Bears Care-a-Lot Castle Show was an animatronic show featuring the Care Bears, Friend, Tenderheart, Bedtime, Funshine, Cheer, and Grumpy. The show was located at Dorney Park in Allentown, Pennsylvania, and at Dunia Fantasi Ancol in Jakarta, Indonesia. I apologize for mispronouncing it. From 1988 to 1992, after the Dorney Park's license for the Care Bears franchise expired, both the sets and animatronics were destroyed, and as for the show in Indonesia, they were replaced and scrapped to pieces, so these animatronics are gone forever. Circus, Playhouse, and Circus World. If you are a big animatronic fan, you may know that the now defunct company, AVG Productions, who is responsible for creating some of the best animatronics in existence for Six Flags, Disney, Universal Studios, and many others. One of their creations is the Circus Playhouse band in the Circus Playhouse and Food Emporium, with the first restaurant opened up in 1982 in Hollywood, Florida, and later on opened up in 4 other locations throughout the US, in Massachusetts, Connecticut, and 2 restaurants in Georgia. In the Circus Playhouse band, we have Lionel the Friendly Lion, Lola the Leopard, Texas Tiger, Charlie Chimp, Ellie Elephant, Jerry Giraffe, Batty Bird, and Barney Bear. These animatronics are one of the best looking ones to exist in the 80s, but around 1985, AVG ceased production on the animatronics and another now defunct company, 3D Robotics, took its place to continue on with making a few changes on the animatronics, but none of these changes were ever used, and by the time 90s came in, all 5 locations of the Circus Playhouse closed down for unknown reasons, which is saddening. But that same year, the last location closed down in 1990, and a revival attempt was made, and so came in Circus World Pizza. With the original band members were down to just 4 animatronics: Lucky the Lion, Lucy the Lioness, Peter the Penguin, and Barney the Bear. Circus World Pizza opened a few unknown locations, with one of them being to last up until around the early 2010s, once again closing its door. That was the case until 2016, when yet another revival attempt was made by a businessman who owned, I assuming to be the original Circus Playhouse Animatronics, opened its only location at the Euclid Square Mall in Ohio of all places. The problem was that the mall was pretty much dead at the time. The mall was demolished, including the Circus World Pizza. So it seems that Circus Playhouse and Circus World can't catch a break and refuse to be a thing in the past. But finally in 2020, a YouTuber named Cavity Sam had uploaded a video on the conditions of a complete Circus Playhouse band in a storage unit, looking rotten and devoid of life. In the description, they stated that the owner of the band claimed that the band came from a pizza place that burned down, but upon looking for any news articles confirming this claim about a Circus Playhouse location dealt with the fire, nothing has came up, so it's a mystery on what exactly happened. There is also reports that this band will not be restored completely, and rumors float that the band will be used for a horror attraction. That's pretty much where the status on Circus Playhouse is at. And as for Circus World Pizza animatronics, the most recent update about them is that in 2020, a video uploaded on the channel Bullfrog's Banjo showcases the 4-member band in some warehouse still in pretty good condition, and is reportedly being taken care of by Advanced Animations, so that's good to hear. Well guys, thank you for watching part 1 of this animatronics series. I had fun making this, as I find animatronics pretty interesting, and I hope you enjoyed watching this. Just want to quickly say thank you to those who have watched my content since 2023 or 2022. 2023 was not the year for me, and I could pretty much say that it wasn't the year for anyone. It wasn't bad or terrible, it was just not it. It was just not it. But maybe 2024 is the year. So if you guys have anything on your resolution list or any goals that you want to achieve, just want to say you got this. I do have goals, of course, and of course one of them is being to upload more often. Anyways, thanks again for watching this animatronics series. I can't wait to show you guys this other brand new series I'm working on that will be out this month. If you've been following the community tab of this channel, then you already know what it is. So if you're curious, then you should know by now. Subscribe and turn on notifications. Everyone knows that. Until next time, bye.